hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I wanted to address the proposition that is up on the top that says no evidence of God.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I think I have a priori evidence for God. You guys accept that?
That's not evidence.
What is evidence?
Evidence is anything that could help. It's kind of a weird, that's usually like what I say proof is, but evidence is something that some sort of information that helps confirm an idea.
Yeah,
And
and I have that.
a priori, that's just a presupposition. That's just a starting point. So
What is it?
that cannot be evidence.
How is it a presupposition of what?
It can be literally anything. A priori are assumptions you begin your reasoning with. They are not in evidence. It
You
is
want me to give
just
you an argument and you assess it?
what. So do you know what a priori assumptions are?
Yeah.
What are they?
Well, a priori in of itself, a priori means something that is known without experience. Okay? And an assumption is
Hmm.
just something that is supposed before actually testing it. Okay, that's all it is. So now I want to give you an argument. Okay, and it's the MOA. You want to hear it?
The MOA.
Yes,
What does that stand for?
the modal ontological argument.
Oh, great.
Are you aware of it?
Uh, God is the greatest thing ever. The greatest thing ever would be better to exist than not exist. Therefore, God exists.
That's Anselm's. That's not the modal ontological argument.
Oh, darn it.
Yeah, there's different. It's different. And the MOA and the OA, they're different. But I'll go ahead and do it. Premise one: it is possible that a maximally great being exists. Okay. Premise two: for all x, if x is possibly necessary, then x is necessary. All right. Premise three: this maximally great being, it is possibly necessary. Conclusion one: this maximally great being exists in all possible worlds. Conclusion two: it exists in the actual world. Modus bonus.
What? Yeah, that's great. What was premise two? I wrote for one, I wrote a maximally great being possibly exists. I'm pretty sure that's what you said.
Premise two is for all x, if x is possibly necessary, then x is necessary.
Cool beans, yo. What's next?
Premise three is a maximally great being is possibly necessary.
Okay.
Premise four, well, it's not premise four now, it's conclusion one. Conclusion one is that this maximally great being exists in all possible worlds. Conclusion two is this maximally great being exists in the actual world and result of conclusion one.
How do we go from it's possible to that it exists?
All right, so do you know what the S5 axiom is?
No.
All right, the S5 axiom states symbolically in logic, diamond box P and telling box P. All this means is that whatever is possibly necessary means it's necessary. The majority of logicians accept this simply because
Could you give
of
me
its
an example of something where this is the case?
well, no, because I only believe God is necessary. But now let me explain to you what this
Okay.
axiom is.
So
Okay,
can you explain how we know that that's the case?
how do we know what?
Do you have anything of other than like outside this deductive argument, do you have any reason for anybody to think that the premises are true?
This deductive argument sufficient for God's existence.
That's debatable.
Okay, then
Yeah,
can you refute it?
an
Can you
argument
refute it?
an argument doesn't prove anything by itself.
Are you going to refute it?
It doesn't it needs substantiating.
Okay, and
What
what
can
is
be
there? Okay,
asserted
go ahead,
without
tell me
evidence can be dismissed without evidence. I
sir,
can create a
sir.
valid argument that says the god defeating penguin necessarily makes your god not exist there. And then it's
All
over
right,
for
so
you.
I'm waiting for which premise you disagree with, sir.
I'm asking you to substantiate any premise.
Which premise would you like me to substantiate?
Any of them.
Okay, pick one, sir. Am I going to just do all of them?
The first one.
Okay, the first one. The first premise is a maximally great being can exist. Or
Yep,
it is possible
substantiate
for.
that.
All right. So, unfortunately, I don't know if you know, but modal claims right? In which
Have no
claims
evidence.
of-
Okay, I'm not
Let-
interested then.
I didn't say that. Are you gonna let me finish, sir? This is not looking too good for you, sir. Okay, because you constantly interrupt while I'm trying to
Says the
substantiate.
guy that believes in
Let me
magic
finish.
and
Let me
worships a
finish.
pedophile.
Yeah, yep. Here we go with the ad hominems. Okay, so let me continue.
No, he fucked
So,
a 9-year-old girl. That's not an ad
all right,
hominem
see,
attack.
guys,
It's a fact.
this is why all atheists are retarded. This is what happens. Okay, they start insulting.
At least I'm
because
not a
they don't know how to
pedophile,
respond to
worshiper.
arguments. They don't know how to respond to arguments, so they resort to insulting.
All you
Thanks, sir.
have
a
is
great
an
day.
argument. I don't
Thank you,
care. Put up
dumbass.
or shut up. Oh, he left. Okay. Well,
I was hoping he would stay on the a priori or whatever it was. I pulled
No,
up
he
the
knew-
definition just in case.
he knew he had absolutely nothing there. Well, unfortunately, you can't back up any of these things. That's not what I was going to say. And how dare you call my prophet a pedophile? Police be upon him. May he fuck pigs in hell. I'm happy to announce that I can now offer signed copies of both of my books. This is because I've reopened my merch store where you can get your very own Spanky, t-shirt, and more. If you don't know, Rational Answers to Stupid Questions is a collection of responses to about 100 of the most common anti-scientific tropes. The book is meticulously detailed, it's been fact-checked by real scientists, and it's written in a clear and easy to understand way. Evolution, the Big Bang, creationism, flat Earth, all of that plus more is in there. Facts That Aren't True is a collection of over 150 commonly held beliefs that are not true. Each claim has a story behind it. You'll learn the history behind the claim, the science that disproves it, or partially supports it in some cases, and lots of side stories and tangents. Categories include the human body, history, religion, animals, nature, language, and a hodgepodge of miscellaneous facts that aren't true. So if you want to be equipped to handle the misinformation that you see me tackling here every day, get a copy of one or both of those books for yourself. Thank you.
I want your opinion on my idea of the Big Bang, if that's okay.
I don't know if I'll be super helpful, but go ahead.
It might start a conversation. So, I believe in the beginning there was a particle, and that particle became conscious and exploded out with ideas of what it was, what it could be, what things had to be come together just so to create beings like you or I, or trees, or even the single-celled organisms, right? So it exploded out, and every time it came across, and at the same time it's integrating back into itself, right? So it's understanding the laws that it's creating within itself. But none of this is mass, none of it is matter, none of it is tangible. It's all in your mind, essentially. What do you think? Could the Big Bang be a thought process instead of tangible matter?
So I would say that what you're describing is kind of like panpsychism, or maybe essentialism, but just in a very different way. To me, I don't really go anywhere near these types of explanations, because for me, they don't really explain anything. So if we say that if we say that in the beginning there was just like fundamental understanding, consciousness, or something like that in the universe, and then it gradually became us, then we're sort of just attaching a label about something we already know about to other things that we kind of already know about. But you're saying that they're...
But that's quantum physics.
You don't... Well, not exactly. But you're also saying that you don't think that it's matter. It's all just like consciousness or thoughts or something like that. Well...
Basically, yes.
Well, but we know what the properties of matter are.
Right.
I don't think we really know what the properties of consciousness are, which is weird because I'm pretty sure I have consciousness, but I don't actually know what its properties are.
But if it's all within, if it's all happening within the consciousness, our understanding of what matter is comes from the consciousness. We can understand, again, it's integrating back into itself, so we can understand what makes up matter. We can understand that these chemicals that exist from consciousness, because, hey, what if we had a gas that was kind of like oxygen that people needed to breathe, or, coming into contact with hydrogen, it creates water, that sort of thing. So the consciousness, it's happening within a sphere, which is what I call source, what a lot of people would call God, right? So God created the heavens and the earth. Well, what if source is God and everything that came from God, created from, was just a thought?
Well, what I would say about that is I just don't see how we can use that idea to really test anything or to uncover mysteries about anything, which is
Can
why
I
I,
give you
I
more?
typically don't go anywhere. Because like from what you were saying, it sounded like, look, I'll accept that, we know the properties of matter, and oxygen combines with hydrogen to form water. That's just what we call those things. But
Right.
in the end, it's ultimately some sort of like thought process or consciousness or whatever. It's like, well, okay, we're agreeing on pretty much everything, and you're just like inserting this different kind of almost like metaphysical view of how we should understand those things.
It's an
And
allegorical view. So, as an
that's
allegorical
that's
transcendentalist,
fine. But for me,
mhm,
I can't really give any feedback, because for me, as like an analytical science empiricist kind of person, I'm just like, look, give me something that you can use to make me be able to do the science better or understand the science better. And this doesn't do that for me.
so we know that everything, the smallest measurement, I guess, is an atom. And inside atoms, we know that there are quarks. And we know that when we start to pay attention to quarks and try and measure them, they collapse on themselves and they cease to exist. And we know that the entire universe is made up of atoms and quarks. So essentially, it's non-existent. It collapses on itself. It exists in probability, in potentiality, until we come across it and interact with it. And then our interaction, our perception of interacting with a thing, is what we call reality.
Right. That is essentialism. Have you heard of essentialism before?
No, I'm self-taught, but I have no formal
Well, I don't
education
have
on
a
that.
formal education in this topic either. I
Right?
just listen to
No,
people
I
talk
don't know
about it.
essentialism.
It's just the idea that it's an interpretation of quantum mechanics that says there is no wave function, there is no collapse or anything. Everything is just fundamentally consciousness. And it's like, okay, but that doesn't give us any like information that we can use to do any other kind of scientific work.
If
You're not
we,
alone in the way you think
oh,
about
I
this,
know.
but that's just sort of my feedback on it.
So I have a friend who's Catholic. I'm an allegorical transcendentalist, but I consider myself a pagan witch just because it's easier to explain instead of, oh my God, what does that mean? So I have a friend who's Catholic and he teaches theology at a Catholic school, and I've talked to his students many times. And so we got to talking about objective truths. And as your previous guest had said, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Well, in the beginning, there was a particle that became conscious. Or in the beginning, there was this big bang and it exploded out. But all of that is energy, all of that is light, right? So the Bible is interpreting it in a way that supports Christianity. I'm interpreting it in a way that supports science. You're interpreting it in a way that supports that you don't have to have faith. And that's fine. I also have faith.
So what I would say about that is you and I are lucky enough to live when we live and to
Right.
be able and to know what we know. But you're sort of giving the authors of the Bible credit for writing about the Big Bang and particles and stuff like that in their own
No.
kind of language. But no, I don't think that the Bible is written in their own way to explain these things. I don't think they knew any. They didn't know what air even is.
But
So I
no,
don't
so okay.
think that they were doing that.
But okay, they did. They did in a way. I actually attended a lecture from Guy something or other. He is literally the Pope's astronomer. On the same day that the Pope died, I believe in synchronicity, so all of the things. But on the same day that the Pope died, I actually listened to a lecture with this man in person, and he was saying, like, no, the apostles, um, Paul and all of them. I don't do the whole apostle thing, so their names. Whoever wrote the Bible or interpreted the Bible, they were doing so in a way that is supporting their idea or their understanding of the science at the time. So their understanding of the science at the time was God, was Christ, was all of these things. But it has since evolved, and now we know that that is one interpretation, sure, and that's a Christian interpretation that a lot of people are not going to let go of. However, we know that there have been other ways of interpreting this. I'm not trying to catch you up on anything. I'm just offering a little bit that people don't generally talk about.
Yeah, I don't think I can really say anything that I haven't said already. I do not hold that the Bible authors were writing about science in their own terms. I think they were just deeply ignorant about science. And when you try to reinterpret their words as
They
being
weren't.
some sort of ancient wisdom about the truth of some underlying structure of the universe, you're just giving them too much credit. We're smarter than they
Everyone
were.
has every culture has a flood story, right? Christianity, Irish, all of the cultures have a flood story. So if they are, and in their own tablets and scriptures and things like that, they have a written account of how or what brought on the flood story. And this is in everything. You can look it up, do the research if you want into all of the cultures, but this is a thing that happens. So they did know in Christianity, they were working with science as well. The Catholic Church has always been very much alongside science. But anyway, that's just something to think about. I hope you have a wonderful day.